Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Yes, students, today we will discuss what is bail, how it is granted, at which stage it is granted. Now, the most important point in bail is the stage at which stage the bail can be granted. Now, it will be very easy for you people to understand the stages because you are well familiar with the procedure, with the stages, with the procedure of summon case, with the procedure of warrant case, with the procedure of trial before a court of session. Now there will be absolutely no problem. Now with regard to bail, initially we can say on the basis of offences, the bail can be of two types. It is bailable in bailable offences and in non-bailable offences. Now, in bailable offences, we will discuss in detail. It is a matter of right of the accused. In non-bailable offences, it is the discretion of the court. In non-bailable offences, we can divide the bail into two parts. Anticipatory bail. In non-bailable offences, yes, student, you may not write anything. I will dictate each and everything. Listen to me. Now, it can be divided into two parts. It may be anticipatory bail. It may be ordinary or a regular bail. Anticipatory bail is granted before the arrest of the accused in order to secure his individual liberty. And in a regular bail, again, we can divide it into two parts. One is regular ordinary bail, other is bail in default. Now we have already discussed, students, section 167, where we have discussed that if the accused has been sent to judicial custody and the police is not expediting the filing of police report. Yes, Jazwat. In such circumstances, the accused can be released if the police fail to present the police report within 60 days or 90 days, as the case may be. We have discussed that point in detail. Now that is known as bail in default or compulsive bail. Here also, individual right accrues to the accused on the day when the 90 days have been completed or 60 days have been completed. That is also individual right. If he files an application, then the court is having no discretion. The court has to grant bail. Now, this is compulsive bail or in default. With regard to bail in default, the courts are also the same, will also be coming under the same principle. We will discuss today that in which circumstances the court is bound to grant compulsory bail in default if the court itself is unable to decide the case within a specific period. Today we will discuss that point also. Now come to regular or ordinary bail. Now this is done after arrest. This is done after arrest because once person has been arrested and he has been sent to jail, now he is entitled to that. Yes, students, here I will give you one example. With that example, I will disclose to you people the stages, that this is the stage where now we should grant the bail to this. Now let us see that X has committed a robbery and caused some injuries on the person of Y, and he has been booked under section 394. Now FIR has been registered against X under section 394 IPC. Now under this, there is a life imprisonment, and there may be imprisonment up to 10 years. Now once FIR has been registered here, the question is whether X is entitled to get the bail before his arrest. Now he is entitled to bail here. He can approach the Court of Session or High Court for granting him bail, because he is having apprehension that he may be arrested by that police. Of course, he will have to disclose to the court that he is not at fault, that he is having good reputation, he has never been convicted for any offense, and here also he has been falsely implicated, whatever the case he wants to present. Now here, before arrest, he can present an application. Now suppose he has been arrested. Now offense under section 394, it is non-bailable. If he has been arrested, then the court can grant police remand if the police officer comes with the prayer that, sir, they want to interrogate the accused. Then of course the court can send X to the police station by granting police remand of 2 days, 3 days, whatever may be. Now during the police remand, X cannot file any application for bail. Suppose he has been arrested on 1st January 2020 and the court granted police remand up to 4th January. Now, if this accused has been produced on 4th January with the request that the police has completed the investigation with regard to his custody, therefore he should be sent to jail. Now, this is the moment on 4th January when X can move an application before the court with the prayer that police has already conducted investigation and he is no more required by the police for interrogation. Therefore, he should be released on bail. Now, this is the moment when the court, after hearing the public prosecutor, can grant bail. Now, if the court is of the view that this is not a fit case where X should be granted bail, then the court can pass an order that X should be sent to jail. Now he will remain in custody during trial. After 2 or 3 months, he may move another application on the ground that trial has not been completed. He has been inside jail. Now the court can reconsider the matter. Now, what is the purpose of bail? The main purpose of bail in non-bailable offense is that why we should keep the accused inside. Let him be made free so that he may enjoy his liberty. We should not constrain his life during the trial. Let the trial go on. When the trial will be concluded, we will see whether he is to be compelled to undergo some sentences or not. Now it means that during trial, generally the trend of the court is not to send the accused to jail, rather to release him on bail. If the offense is not serious, if there is a murder case, or if there is some offense which is carrying life imprisonment, in those cases, of course, the court may be of the view that if this person is released, he may flee from the justice, he may leave the country, he may create problem in the disposal of the case. Now, if the court is convinced that he can do such things, then he may not be granted bail. Now, this is the stage in non-bailable offenses. Now, with regard to bailable offenses, whenever the accused has been arrested by the police is bound to release him as a matter of right. Section 436 of CRPC lays down that police is having no discretion. If the police has arrested accused of some bailable offense, the accused will be released if the accused is ready to furnish the bond. If accused says that he is ready to furnish the bond, surety bond or personal bond, he can furnish that bond, and the police cannot detain that accused even beyond that period. Now, if the accused who has committed bailable offense is produced before the court or appears before the court, then court is also under obligation to release the accused immediately on bail because offense is bailable. Please keep this concept in mind. Bear this in mind, because now I am going to give you one example. Then I will ask you to think in your mind at your level whether the order of some high court is correct or not. No, there was, let me here give some example. A has threatened B by writing a letter to B that A will kill B. Now he has written 2 or 3 other letters also. And he has put his signatures also on these letters. Now A has not committed any murder as yet, but he will be liable under section 506 of IPC. Now under section 506, punishment may be up to 7 years. Now, in this case, suppose B has filed a criminal complaint and A has been summoned. Now, this offense is available. A has appeared before the court and the judicial magistrate has released him on bail immediately on the same day without hearing the complainant. Now the complainant has filed a revision before the Honorable High Court that he must be heard before granting bail. And the High Court has rejected the bail granted by the judicial magistrate on the ground that judicial magistrate has not heard this complainant. Now I will ask you students here. Now think whether the High Court has passed right order. You will immediately say, no, it is not right order. It is wrong order. Because section 436 says that it is a matter of right that the bail has to be granted, and the court has granted the bail. Whenever the accused appears before the court judicial magistrate has not done anything wrong. Now there was one very important case. Please keep in mind simply, you may not write this. Raskalal versus Kishore, it was AIR Supreme Court 1341. Now in this case, similar situation had arisen. Exactly similar situation had arisen. In this case, there was a criminal complaint under section 500 against the accused, and accused appears before the court. Accused was released on the same day, and the High Court cancelled the bail without. Now here, High Court cancelled the bail on the ground that the judicial magistrate must hear the complainant. Complainant must be given an opportunity. Now this matter came before Honorable Supreme Court. And Supreme Court in this case, Raskalal versus Kishore, has held that it was bailable offense. High Court cannot cancel the bail orders which have been passed by judicial magistrate. Once it is a right of the accused to be released on bail, then there is absolutely no necessity to hear the opposite party, because opposite party cannot put any arguments before the court that this bail should not be granted, particularly when this is indivisible right of the accused, because he has committed simply bailable offense. Therefore, he is to be released on bail. Yes, students, keep in mind that in bailable offenses, it is immaterial how many offenses he has committed. In all bailable offenses, he is entitled to be released on bail. We cannot send him to jail. But very interesting thing. Suppose we have released him on bail, and during the pendency of the case, he remained absent. He violated the terms of bond. Now, what are the terms of bond? Simply, he will give in writing when he is released on bail, he will give in writing that I undertake to appear in the court on each and every date. In case I fail to appear, the court may recover from me rupees 10,000. Now, if he fails to attend the court on specific date, then of course it is the discretion of the court to release him on bail second time or not. Now he has forfeited his that individual right due to his own default. Now this is the circumstance when his bail can be rejected. Yes, students, this was about bailable offense. Now let us come to ordinary bail or regular bail. Ordinary bail or regular bail, it is granted after arrest. I have given you example, and I have disclosed to the you people this stage, that this is the stage when the bail is to be granted by judicial magistrate. Now, judicial magistrate can grant the bail in non-bailable offences. It is entire discretion of the court. Yes, Jajwa. It is entire discretion of the court. Court may grant the bail. And if the circumstances are such that the accused is not entitled to be released on bail, then his bail application can be rejected. But here, what thing is to be kept in mind? The court is to see certain things that, firstly, nature of the offense. What is the nature of the offense? And what is the reputation of the accused? Whether accused has been already convicted for any offense? What is the gravity of offense? Whether there is a likelihood that accused may not flee from justice? Now we are to see background of accused also. And we are also to see whether it possibility of his jumping bail may be there or not. Now we are to also see that if the accused is released on bail, whether he is going to make any inducement, threat, or promise to a witness who is knowing the facts, and whether he will dissuade them from disclosing the facts to the police or to the court. No, if the court is of the view that this particular accused, if released on bail, may take a revenge from the complainant, then his bail application will be rejected. Now I will give you one example that in which circumstances we can say that some kind of a revenge may be there and he should not be released. Now there was one case against A under section 326 that he caused some injuries on a lady B, which were grievous injuries. Then the court, after the lapse of 3 months, granted bail on the ground that accused remained in custody for 3 months and the trial may take long time for its disposal. Therefore, accused is released on bail. But this A, what he has done, he has cut 2 legs of that lady when he was released because he was inducing her to give evidence in his favor. But she refused to do so, and he has cut 2 legs and separated from the body. Yes, students, we have to see this situation whether there is a possibility of any retribution. Retribution means to take any revenge. No, similar cases we have already seen that how in a rape case, if the accused is released on bail, how that lady upon whom rape was committed is killed. Now, therefore, the court is to see all such things. Whether really this is a fit case where the accused should be released on bail, or whether the accused is going to prolong the case, whether the accused is going to influence the witnesses. Now, these are the factors which are to be seen, Now, this regular bail is granted by judicial magistrate under section 437 of CRPC. Now, in non-bailable offences, If the offense carries life imprisonment or death penalty, generally the judicial magistrate will not grant the bail because that will be seen by session judge or high court. Because once an offense carries life imprisonment, possibility is there that he may be given life imprisonment, and if he is released on bail, he may flee from justice, he may leave the country. Keeping in view this, the judicial magistrate is competent to grant bail only where death penalty is not given or life imprisonment is not given. It means where the imprisonment is up to 10 years, 14 years, 7 years, he can grant the bail. He is having discretion. Then, if the accused is liable for bail uh, for non-bailable offense, and he has already been convicted by the court. Previously, he was convicted. When a previous convict is there and he has committed another offense, then he is not entitled to be released on bail because the court can refuse to grant the bail. But even in those offenses where death penalty is given, life imprisonment is given, the judicial magistrate can grant the bail in exceptional circumstances. Which are exceptional circumstances? Now, if the accused is a juvenile, accused is below 18 years old, then he can be released. If the accused is a woman, then he can release even if death penalty is there in the offense, even if life imprisonment there, he can release. Then if the accused is sick or infirm, if he knows that this is the accused is suffering from this disease, he is sick or he is handicapped, he is unable to live independently without the help of his parents. In those cases, it may be the offense may be carrying death penalty, life imprisonment. He can grant. It means judicial magistrate is competent to grant bail in case the accused is a juvenile or the accused is a woman or the accused is sick or is infirm. He can be released. Now, at the time of releasing the accused on bail, now we are talking about non-bailable offenses. The court can impose various conditions also, that accused will not commit similar offense or accused will not make any threat, inducement to the witnesses, or the accused will not leave the country, just like these conditions can be imposed on him. Now, in non-bailable offenses, if trial is not completed by the judicial magistrate within the period of 60 days from the first date of evidence, now here I will give you one example, because let us see, in this case, the police report was presented before the court on 1st January, and the court framed the charge against the accused on 1st February. Thereafter, the court fixed the date 1st March 2020 for recording evidence. Now, this is the first date when evidence has started. Now, accused is inside jail. He has not been released. In case the trial is not concluded within 60 days from this date, then he is entitled to be released on bail. He will move an application and the court shall grant the bail because now it is the fault of court. Why the court has not concluded the evidence within 60 days, particularly when accused is sitting inside jail. Now this is also, we can compare this with section 167, bail in default. Now bail in bail in default, the accused will be released and he will be asked to appear in the court on each and every date. Yes, under 437, there are other certain conditions that a judicial magistrate who has granted bail, he is also competent to cancel that bail. For example, in this case, if bail has been granted to A, but on next date, he fails to return, his bail order may be cancelled. The court may say that now you are not entitled to be released on bail because you have already forfeited your right by remaining absent from the court. Now this is how the judicial magistrate, he is competent to grant bail in non-bailable offences. Now let us see, there is one section 436A has also been introduced. 436A lays down that if the trial has not been concluded within the period half of the maximum punishment, if the punishment is 2 years, here also I will give one example. Now this A has pushed a public servant, deputy commissioner, while attending some meeting. Now, A has used criminal force against this deputy commissioner, and he has committed an offense punishable under section 353 IPC, where under 2-year imprisonment is there. Now, he was kept in jail and the trial could not be completed within 1 year. Now here also it is the duty of the court to release him on bail because half of the time, half of the period, half of 2 years has been spent by A, therefore he is entitled to be released on bail. Now this is also, in other words, we can say bail in default. Now in case A has completed 2 years inside jail and the trial has not been completed, then in such a situation, A is entitled to be released he is entitled to be released on his personal bond, because now the judge cannot give more than 2-year punishment. He has already undergone. Now, the order may be passed at any time. Therefore, he is entitled to be released. Now, let us see. Now, this was, yes, students, this was about regular bail by judicial magistrate. Now, let us come to this anticipatory bail. That in anticipatory bail, yes, students, section 438 lays down that if somebody is having reason to believe that he may be arrested in some case, then he can move an application before the court. Now, earlier I have given one example. I will write the same with some other. Now, you please here listen to me simply. Now, A has given his motorcycle to B for repair. B is running a service station, and A asks B to repair his motorcycle. But immediately thereafter, after 15 minutes, A changed his mind to give his motorcycle to C, who is a better mechanic. Now, A forcibly took his motorcycle, but B resisted, and A caused some injuries on the person of B. Now, here, A is liable under section 394 IPC because he has committed here a robbery, because he has caused some injuries also. And under this section, life imprisonment is there, or imprisonment may be up to 10 years. Now, A has moved here bail application under section 438 for granting him anticipatory bail on the ground. Now, he is raising the ground that B has falsely implicated him because A was owner of the motorcycle and he was taking his motorcycle. He was not touching any other property of B, but B has stopped him from taking this motorcycle. Now, therefore, A can justify there before the court, look here, sir, I am having good reputation. Now, B is going to spoil his reputation. Now, moreover, he has done nothing wrong except causing some injuries. That is to only because B was, he was insisting, B was stopping him. Yes, students, in this case, FIR has already been recorded. Now, this is a genuine case because if he is arrested, now it will spoil his reputation that he has been arrested by police for this robbery. Now, in order to protect his life and liberty, because Article 21 of our Constitution says that nobody should be deprived of his life and liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Now, here, he is ready to face the trial. He says that I am ready to face the trial. But at least during the trial period, he must be released on bail. That too, prior to his arrest. Otherwise, the arrest will spoil his this reputation. Now, this is the most genuine case, we will say, that we should not contain, we should not curb his liberty. He will be granted anticipatory bail. Now, this is how the session judge or high court, they grant anticipatory bail. Under section 438, both session judge and high court, they are having concurrent power to grant anticipatory bail. The person may go directly to high court or he may come to the court of session. But general principle is that first of all, the person must go to session judge. So that scope of going before the high court may be there. Therefore, both these courts, the court of session judge and high court, they are competent to grant anticipatory bail under section 438. Now, there was very, very important case, that is Gurbakh Singh Sibia versus State of Punjab. It was 1980 Supreme Court 1632. Constitutional bench was there. 5 judges together. They have laid down certain principles that while granting this anticipatory bail, the courts, session judge or high court, they must observe some instructions, some guidelines. And Honorable Supreme Court has held in this case that if somebody says that this is the reason of his belief, now that belief must be founded on reasonable ground, and that belief must be capable of examining by the court. Now that belief should not be mere fear, but belief should be based on some solid grounds. A person cannot say, sir, I'm having apprehension that anybody can register a case against me. No, he is not telling us the reason. What is the ground? What is the apprehension? What is his belief? Whether somebody is going to kill him, whether somebody is going to destroy his house, whether somebody is going to damage his car. Now, therefore, here we will say that he is having no reason to believe that he may be arrested. It is just like vague allegations we can say. Now, the court should not also pass blanket order. Very important words they have used. Honorable Supreme Court in this case has asked that no blanket order should be passed. What is a blanket order? Blanket order is a direction. Such a direction should not be issued to the effect that the accused should be released on bail whenever arrested for whichever offense whatsoever. Now, these lines are very important. Whenever arrested or whichever offense whatsoever. Accused cannot make prayer that, sir, he should be granted a license, that the police should not arrest him in any case. Because if such type of order is passed, the accused may commit any offense in future also. He will show the letter that this is license. Now, in other words, we can say that will be a license for committing future offenses. Therefore, no blanket order should be passed that this person is immune of arrest in each and every case which is going to be committed in future. There must be some specific allegation, and the bail order granting the anticipatory bail must be in a specific case. It should not be a general order. Now, yes, keep in mind that such blanket order will give a license to the accused, and the court should avoid passing such order. Court must pass specific order that he is having apprehension against this person, that the person is going to lodge an FIR, or he is having apprehension that the court is going to arrest him. I will give you one example here with regard to court also. Now this A, he has caused some injuries on the person of B and committed this offense under section 326. Now B has approached the police, but police did not register an FIR. Now B has filed a criminal complaint in the court under section 200, and the court has recorded evidence of complainant and witnesses, and thereafter the court has summoned the accused under section 204, and the court has issued simple summons. Now on the basis of simple summons, students, A can go to the High Court, A can go to the Court of Session. Look here, sir, there is apprehension that whenever he will appear before the court, he may be arrested by the court. The court may not grant the bail because this under 326 life imprisonment is also there. Therefore, judicial magistrate may say that he is not competent to grant bail. Now, this is also genuine ground. He is having this belief, this is a good ground for releasing him on anticipatory bail. Now, in such cases, now it may be, now keep in mind, it may be the FIR, if some FIR has been registered by the police, or if some criminal complaint is filed. In both the cases, if the apprehension is there, accused is certainly entitled to approach the Court of Session or to approach the High Court also for getting him released on anticipatory bail. Now, anticipatory bail is granted only before arrest. Once a person has been arrested, for example, I will give you this. Now, in this case, A moved an application before the session judge on 1st January 2020. And the court has given notice to the public prosecutor for granting anticipatory bail. And the court did not pass any interim order. And the court has fixed that it will decide the matter on 5th January. In the meantime, the police has arrested A on 2nd January. On 2nd January 2020, he was arrested. When the accused has been arrested, his application for granting anticipatory bail has become infructuous. The court will not decide, the court will dismiss the application on the ground that since he has been arrested, therefore he is not entitled to this anticipatory bail. But keep in mind, in case the court on the first day has granted interim bail by laying down that accused should not be arrested in this FIR till 5th January, then the police cannot arrest. Whenever the police will arrest, they will have to release him on bail as per the bail orders granted by the Court of Session or by the High Court. Yes, students, then we can say that anticipatory bail is a device to secure individual liberty. Now, in anticipatory bail, this
temporary order can be passed, just like on the 1st January, the temporary order was passed. It was valid only for 5 days. Therefore, there is no bar on the courts. Now, in this constitutional bench authority, the Honorable Supreme Court has laid down various principles, and it has laid down that the court can put the conditions. What conditions? That the accused will make himself available to the police for interrogation. Secondly, accused will not leave the country without permission of the court. Thirdly, the accused will not make any threat, inducement, or any promise to the person who is well acquainted with the facts so as to prevent him from disclosing the facts to the police. And the accused will not commit any offense. Now, these conditions must be fulfilled, must be followed, must be complied with by the accused. Now, suppose an accused has been released on anticipatory bail, and thereafter he has been arrested by the court. The court is bound to release him immediately because the High Court or Court of Session has already granted anticipatory bail. Now, in anticipatory bail, the court can lay down the condition that whenever he is arrested, he should be released on bail. After getting bail bonds or surety bonds from him, the court may pass a specific order that bonds of sum of rupees 40,000, 50,000, 1 lakh should be taken from him. Similarly, whenever the police will arrest him, police will immediately release him. Now, during that period, when a person has been released on anticipatory bail, it does not mean that accused cannot be summoned by the police. The police can summon the accused at any time for interrogation, because that is always the condition laid down by the Court of Session, by the High Court, that the accused must make him available before the police or before the court, if it is court, which is to summon him. Yes, students, this was about 438, that anticipatory bail can be granted by the court, and the court may also cancel that bail if the conditions are not fulfilled. But keep in mind, if the bail has been granted by High Court, Session Judge, or Judicial Magistrate, they cannot cancel the bail. Now let us see, a regular bail can be granted by the Court of Session and by the High Court also under section 439 of CRPC. Now we have discussed section 437, where judicial magistrate is competent to grant bail in non-bailable offences. But now let us see under section 438, 439 of CRPC, Session Judge and High Court, they can also grant bail. Now, which are the cases? Which is the stage? Suppose judicial magistrate, he has refused to grant the bail in offenses where death penalty is there or life imprisonment is there. In such cases, now 439 is also relating to those cases where the arrest has already been made.
The person has already been arrested. The person is in jail. Now his bail application is before. Now it means section 437 and 439, they will come in operation only when the accused has been arrested. Section 438, it will come in operation when the accused has not yet been arrested. Now, in this case, under section 439, whenever bail application is filed, the court will give notice to the public prosecutor. And after hearing the public prosecutor and accused, it may refuse or it may grant bail because it is the entire discretion. But that discretion must be exercised judiciously with proper care and caution, because the court must see the effect of release of the accused and effect of non-release of the accused. That if accused is released on bail, whether he is going to create havoc in the society, whether it will be having bad effect on the society as a general. For example, if some accused has committed murder and he is inside jail, and if he is released on bail, you can well imagine what will be the effect on our society. The members of our society, they will think that now he is free to commit any other murder. Now, therefore, in such cases, the Court of Session and High Court, they are restraining from granting bail in murder cases or in other cases against the state where death penalty is there, or the cases like sedition cases, war against the state. In those cases, generally, High Court and Session Judge, they don't grant any bail under section 439. Now, I think students, you are very clear about 436 and 437 and 439, that both these sections will come in operation only when the accused has been arrested. Now, here under 439 subsection 2, it is very interesting thing. Session judge is competent, High Court and Session judge both are competent to cancel the bail granted by judicial magistrate. Now, let me come to this section 438 again with regard to anticipatory bail. Now, recently, Parliament has inducted some provisions under 438 that no anticipatory bail should be granted to that accused who has committed rape on a woman who is 16 years or below 16, or who is below 12. The accused who has committed gang rape upon a girl who is below 16. Now, in that case, accused will not be entitled to be released on anticipatory bail in any case. Now, here also, under section 439, if the session judge or High Court, they are going to release the accused on bail under section, in those cases where a rape of a girl who is below 16 has been committed, then essential condition has been laid down by Parliament that the victim must be present at the time when the arguments are being heard by the Court of Session or High Court, so that the victim may submit her case through her advocate
or through her guardian. Now that is the essential condition which has been now laid down. Now therefore keep in mind, because that is very heinous crime. If some rape has been committed of a child who is below 16, that is very heinous crime. And in such circumstances, some special consideration is required to be given. Now, while granting anticipatory bail, the court must keep in mind that what he has done, if he has committed this offense against that child who is below 16, he is absolutely not entitled to be released on. Suppose if he has been arrested, he is having that opportunity to file an application for granting bail under section 439 before the Court of Session or before the High Court. But the High Court, they will also hear first of all complainant, because otherwise there is no necessity in other cases to call for the complainant to hear the complainant. Public prosecutor is there, but additional point has been here noted. Yes, students, this was about all kinds of bails. But now the question arises that if bail has been granted and accused has been released on bail, and he has failed to come to the court on specific day, then whether he is liable for some offense, he is liable to be penalized or not. Yes, students, there is section 446 which lays down that if such accused fails to return on specific date, he will be penalized. The amount of the bond which he has already furnished will be forfeited to the state government, and he will be asked to pay that amount. Now, this is the different procedure. The judicial magistrate will give notice to that accused that you remained absent on so and so date, and it can impose that penalty. And if the penalty is not paid, and if the accused is having no other property, then he can be sent to jail. Now here, surety can also be sent to jail. Now who is the surety? Surety has given undertaking. That surety undertakes to ensure the presence of the accused on each and every date. Now, thus surety is also liable. The court can impose penalty on surety also, because surety did not perform its duty to procure the presence of the accused on each and every date. Yes, students, this was all about bail. Now, we will read each and every section relating to this bail from section 436 to section 450, because this 33 chapter relating to provisions relating to bail and bonds is very, very important chapter. We will read each and every provision. Now let us come to section 436. We will bring on screen 436. Thereafter, I will dictate many things about this also. Now we will read this section 436, what it says with regard to bailable offenses. Yes. Bring 436 of CRPC so that we may read that. Yes, please open your this CRPC. I think all of you have found this section 436.
Section 436 CRPC. In what cases bail to be taken? Subsection 1. When any person other than a person accused of a non-bailable offense.
Yes. other than a person. Now here he is accused of only billable offense and not of a non-billable offense. Section 436 is relating to billable offenses. Yes, from the beginning.
Section 436. In what cases bail to be taken? Subsection 1. When any person other than a person other than person accused of a non-bail offenses is arrested or detained without warrant by a officer in charge of a police station, or appears or is brought before a court, and is prepared at any time while in the custody of such officer or at any stage of the proceeding before such court to give bail, such person shall be released on bail,
Yes.
provided that such officer or court, if he or it thinks fit, may and shall, if such person is indigent and is unable to furnish surety, instead of making bail from such person, discharge him on his executing a bond without sureties for his appearance as hereinafter provided.
Yes, students, if the accused is indigent person, indigent mean he is having no property and nobody is coming to stand as a security for him, as a surety for him. Now, in that case, if he is indigent, the court may ask him to furnish only personal bond, and we will not demand any surety because he is indigent. How we will come to know that he is indigent? Now, he may file an affidavit. He may prove that through affidavit, or he may prove that through an order of the court, which has already declared him to be indigent, maybe in civil court. Now the court will be convinced that he is an indigent person. Or in case he has not furnished the surety bond. The court has asked him to furnish the surety bond. Accused failed to furnish the surety bond, and he has been sent to jail. Now, if within 7 days he fails to furnish surety bond, we will presume some presumption of law is there that he is indigent person who cannot furnish the security. He is indigent. Then we will release him on furnishing simple personal bond. Yes, students, here, first of all, we will take break so that you may solve the question paper. I think you might have received on your mobile. All right, all the best. Thank you.